Hi, everybody, and welcome to Shelly Loves to Paint. Today and for the next 4 lessons, I am going to be sharing holiday card painting. And so I've got a 5x7 card with a matching envelope. You can get these at any craft store or Amazon or any other paper retailer. And they come as great sets. This is a white version. They come in lots of different colors. You can get cream colored, parchment, etc. So whatever your choice is. But that's what we're going to be doing today. So as I'm painting my card, I'll also be painting a little accompanying design or decoration right on the envelope as well. Okay, so as always, you can get the pattern for this bird just as I have it drawn right here. You can download that. It is pinned to the comments underneath this video. So if you scroll down from watching this video to the comment section, you will see it pinned right there at the very top. And you can download and print the pattern and transfer it to your cards or enlarge it or whatever you would like to do with it. You are welcome to do so. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to first put all the background details in. So I've got some branches here. We're going to put some pine boughs on so that the bird is sitting on them. And then we're going to have some pretty white poinsettia flowers, or I think they're magnolias, pretty white magnolias, and some berries. None of all of these grow normally in normal nature, but we're going to put them on all as our decorated tree. Okay, so I'm going to get this 12 flat damp, lay it on the paper towel, and we're going to load our 2 colors. Now let me go around our color wheel here so you can see what we have. All right, we have Wicker White. This is Alfalfa. This is a matte acrylic in the Plaid FolkArt line. All right, so it's got a matte finish. And then we have Thicket for our darker green, right? And that is multi-surface along with everything else on this palette, okay? They'll just a slightly different sheen when it dries, but it's fine for this purpose. All right, then we have burnt umber, apple red, licorice, pure orange, berry wine, linen, and some treasure gold in gold. All right, a little floating medium here in the middle in case I need it, and we are ready to go. So the first thing I want to do is let's get burnt umber loaded on this 12 flat. And then I can come right over here and let's side stroke a little white. Work that in just to get a lighter shade of brown. All right. And we're going to stroke our branches. So on the chisel edge of the brush, come right up to the bird and then past it. And we'll put a few pine branches coming across here. Okay, so just something for the bird to sit on. And you know what, I might add just a little extra coming down here. There. Okay, just to kind of frame it nicely. All right, wipe that brush off, and then let's come and load with our pine needle colors. So this is the Alfalfa and Thicket. And I'm going to grab some white here and work that into my Alfalfa just to brighten it up a touch. All right, and then pine needles are quite simple to stroke. I'm going to, let's come down a little closer now. There we go. So you start from the tip of your pine bough. So let's start right up here, and on the chisel edge, you're just pulling short little strokes along this branch, right? Working your way back, tip to base. And it's important when you're doing this that you have a nice chisel edge on your brush. So if your brush bristles are spread apart, you'll not be happy with your strokes. But as long as you've got a nice thin chisel edge, everything will work out fine. All right, now let's reverse the brush and we'll do some of our lighter strokes. Let's come back to our dark green again. And we'll do just a few more here and there. right? And so that finishes that pretty little pine branch. So that's the process. We're going to do that on the rest of these. And once you get it going, it's pretty quick. It's also good if you can flick away rather than towards you. You might need a touch of floating medium to help this move a little easier on this dry paper. So just work that in. Yeah, that's better. All right, then we reverse and do our light green. Let me side stroke a little white. There, that'll show it up a little better. And then come back to our dark, and you're just going to do a few. This gives the branch depth, right? It makes it look round instead of flat. You want to pay attention to where you're laying these strokes out, so you're not just going side to side and leaving the center blank. You want to go right over that branch so that it fills in. Okay, so we'll keep going. Keep coming back and getting that chisel edge if you lose it. Just right back to that palette, flattening it out, adding a little medium. There we go. Right, so you're going in the middle like this and to the sides, in the middle, and you're overlapping as you work from tip backwards. Handle has to be straight up and down when you're doing this and slightly tipped back so that you're kind of popping a wheelie like this, right? The front edge of your brush is off the surface and just the back bristles are trailing. Right, then our light color, we're reversing. Get a little white loaded on there. So you'll notice the color the most we're putting down is that first layer, and then we get fewer and fewer strokes with the next two layers. Right, so this last one is the one you do the least amount, just to put some depth in there, okay? Keep forgetting to add that medium on there. It makes a big difference with these light strokes. Now these branches back here, right, we're going to go right through here, and we might go over the bird just a little bit, but I'm going to try and stop it as much as I can, because when you do the red of the bird, red can be transparent and show a lot of that green, and it'll look strange. So I just want to kind of stop it before it goes too far past the edge of the bird. We'll have some black back there on that, so it won't be too noticeable. And if you do, and you're unhappy with it, going over it, you could always base the bird back in white, and that will solve that problem. Okay, so now we have all of our pine branches done, and I'm going to set that aside for just a quick second, and we're going to put in, I'm going to side load some brown here first. We're going to put in just a little hint in the corner here of that pine bough on our envelope. Wipe that brown off and then come to our two greens. Get the white, medium, and you just very quickly, you're going to put these needles on here. So the process is, as you're doing each piece on your card, you do something or some part of it on the envelope. And I'm not going to do a bird, obviously, on the envelope, but I will put the pine bough and maybe some of the berries, just so it matches like it was come together. Okay, so we've just got a little spray in the corner, and then we'll set that aside again. And we'll come back to our bird. Okay, so now we want to base in our bird. So clean that brush, and then I'm going to load with apple red. Actually, let's come over here, apple red. So this is a very bright red. I'm going to come and side stroke some burnt umber on 1/2. Okay. And we're going to come down under, and we start with the underneath part of the bird first. So we're going to come down here with our red. Let's get a little more. Our red with the corner of the brush. And the brown is down. So you're going to come down here and then back up. Okay. And then we can come right through here, and we'll add a second layer. Can you see that? And we'll pull up just a few chisel strokes with that brown. Okay. And we'll come right up the belly here. Get more of the apple red. Now I'm not picking up any more brown. And nice smooth strokes going up the chest. Wipe off that brush now, and we just want the red. So apple red here. We're going to come up underneath. This will be the black part on the face. You actually can go right over it like I just did there. It wasn't on purpose, but I did it. All right, and we'll come along the back. So see here where I have some of those pine needles showing? That's what I was talking about, because red is such a transparent color. But we're going to do some more strokes with other colors here after we get this based in. So I'm not going to worry about it. All right, and then we'll come up here, top of the head, little chisel strokes. Come around. And if you struggle with working in this closed space with this size brush, you can always switch to a 10 flat, a little bit smaller. All right, and we come right back down here. All right, so that gets our bird all kind of based in with the red. Okay, so continuing then with that red, I'm going to come over here and we're going to side load some licorice. And you don't need a lot. Work that into the red really, really well. Lots of red. There. Okay, so see how I've got that? Let's turn it this way. So I want to shove, I've got black halfway across and I don't want it that way. So if you twist towards the red side as you push, it will shove that black back over. There, see that? All right, that's better. Okay, so what I want to do with this now is we're going to come down here at the tip of our wing with that black, and we'll come up. And little, I'm not pressing. I'm really up on the chisel, letting that black kind of float. Making little scallop strokes, okay, to form that wing. Very lightly. Okay, and this is going to flow into the chest. And I want to kind of shade underneath this wing with that black and pull it down. See? Okay, then continuing with that red, we're going to come right up here at that pencil line, little jagged strokes on the chisel edge of the brush. Let me come really close so you can see that. So chisel edge of the brush, really jagged. And then we'll go right down the back of the wing. See that? Okay. And then the other thing I want to do is let's get a little more red on there with that black. So where the head meets the body, right through here, a little bit of that same chisel stroke, right? So that the head sits, feathers sit on top of the rest of the body. And then we'll go right up underneath that section that's going to be black around the beak. And then gets a little more of that bright red right on here in the corner of the brush. And kind of sweep that down the chest. Okay. And same with that, right in here with that red on the corner of the brush. Because it just needs a little extra bright. And if you can't keep the black out of the way, you could use a separate brush. But I'm just kind of filling in here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clean that brush now. So we'll get a 6 flat and we're going to load this with pure orange. And then I'm going to come right here next to the berry wine and we're going to stroke berry wine into that pure orange on 1/2. Okay. And we're going to come up to this beak right here. Orange is up and the berry wine is down. Okay. So there we go. Clean that brush again. That's the only thing you need that orange for. And then we're going to load this with licorice. Same 6 flat. And we're going to come around that beak. Forward slightly. And then chisel edge spray out. Up the front center of the face. All right. So we're going to go right over the eye. And around the beak. And I'm making just little chisel edge strokes coming out so that they look like feathers. Come underneath the beak and down the chest. Okay, so just kind of spray that out. There. So underneath there is the eye. Chisel edge with that licorice down the center of the beak. All right, so what I want to do for the eye is I'm going to take the handle of my brush, I'm going to dip into white. Let's dot that off on paper towel just a little bit. And so right here, so you come back from the beak, if you don't remember where the eye was, back from the top of the beak right there into this black, right in there, we're going to make a big dot. Wipe off that handle, come and get black. Oops, I think I can back up again now. Come and get black, licorice. Dab that off just a little bit on paper towel also. And right in the center of that white, you're going to make a circle, leaving that little band of white around it, okay? All right, then to finish that, we're going to take our kiss tool with some white right in the front. Okay? So there is our bird. Now, we're not going to bother with feet because we're going to put some pretty flowers on our tree. All right, and so our flowers, let's back up just a hair. Okay, our flowers are going to be linen to start. And then I'm going to side load some burnt umber on one half and work that in really well. I don't want it like really dark. I just want it to shade the linen. So work that really well into it. And then let's grab some white on the opposite corner. Okay, or you can come over here and side stroke next to the white. Either one will work. A little bit of medium helps that move, and we're good to go. Okay, so we're going to put a pretty white flower right here at the base of our bird. So we're going to go up to a point and back down. Now I need more white in that. I think that linen's a little transparent, or we just need more paint. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. Point and down. I don't think I need the white. I think it's just more paint. Need more linen. Okay. So here we'll go up and back in. Now I want to side stroke a little bit of white for these front petals so that they stand out. There. Okay. And slide back in. Then we'll put a pretty center on there. I want just a couple more petals first though. So we're going to do another layer, side stroke that white. We're going to come right up here in between, a little bit shorter strokes. Smooth and stand up. There we go. Okay, right there. So let's do one more, and then we'll do a bud. So if we have one here, let's do one up in this area right up here, and we'll have it kind of hang out a little bit. More linen. Work that burnt umber in, but you don't want it real dark. Side load the white. And let's get more white for our inner petals. Okay, and then we'll have a bud. So let's put our bud kind of coming over the tail right here. Okay, right there. And then while we're at it, we'll come to our envelope here, and we will add that same flower. And you're just remembering that with envelopes, you want to have room to address and send if they're going through the post. So don't come out too far into the center. I'm making these corner petals shorter so it makes the flower look tilted, right? So it's tilted towards you, which makes these front inside petals look bigger. And we'll just lay in a few of these other ones right there. Okay, so we've got our matching envelope going along with our card. All right, so the next thing I want to do is let's add some berries. And I want to do gold berries just because I don't want to detract from the red of our bird. So I have a 1/4 inch dauber right here, and I've got my treasure gold. So we're just going to load our treasure gold right on the dauber. And you can, if you want, just a little bit of burnt umber on one edge so that it makes it a little two-tone, has a little shaded side to it. So gold with burnt umber. And you can come right through here, push with a partial twist, just a little half twist. All right. I was going to do red berries, but I decided it looked better, oops, with more of a gold tone to them. Let's see if we like those. You can do as many as you like. Getting that brown. All right. Okay, I think that's good for the card. And then on the envelope, I'm just going to come right here and we'll do a few. Like that. Okay. All right. Okay, so last thing I want to do is I want to come in with my script liner, get that damp, and let's get some gold, treasure gold, on that liner, and we can come right around the outside edges of some of these flower petals. And we're going to tap the center. With that gold. So that's a loose outlining. Can you see that? All right, so right in here, we're going to tap the center. And then we'll do a little outlining. And then same thing on our envelope. And tap that center right in there. All right, and then wipe off and get burnt umber and tap a little bit of dark at the base of each of those centers. Just loosely right in here and maybe up one side. Okay, then you can wipe off and get white and tap a little bit of white. So the gold is underneath. And you've got the brown on the bottom and little bits of white on the top. All right. So now I'm going to get some inky. Let's get some inky licorice. we'll sign this. Let's sign it right back here. There we go. All right, so we have our first greeting card in this series with matching envelope. Oops. We have a little oops there. That's okay. You know what we'll do? We'll bring a pine needle right out over it. There we go. Okay, so there's our first bird, cardinal with white magnolias and gold trim and gold berries, and all set to send out to someone special for the holidays. All right, come back next time. We'll do another fun greeting card. We will be doing a candle with holly. And so I can't wait for you to see that, and come check me out again next Monday at noon. See you then. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed the video lesson, please make sure you give me a thumbs up as you're watching so that YouTube knows to share, and make sure you're subscribing and ringing the bell so you can come back and join me again next time. See you then, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.